This podcast was produced by Sean Weston Media.
I'm doing all my tax stuff.
Oh,
and my,
fun.
Yeah, self-employed stuff. So I guess it's that time of year for businesses as well that have lots and lots of employees to do all the paperwork and their admin, but also tie up those management things and performance things.
Yeah.
Is that happening
Yeah,
in your life?
absolutely. I think that's another milestone, isn't it? March time, end of year. Let's rate everybody's performance.
Well, it's going to be a tougher thing to do this year because of what we're going through.
What have we been through? Seems like every other year, doesn't it?
The pandemic must have affected how you performance manage people. Is that an appropriate way to say that these
Yeah,
days?
I think so. I would say it's a really big impact for people, hasn't it? It's been such a stressful year for people. I guess companies will have thought, this is what we want to achieve. They might have a 5-year plan, maybe 3 years into it, and it's been completely pushed out the water. If you're in retail, your stores have been shut. So that's changed your business. If you're running, I don't know, an outreach program, you can't do it anymore. If you work with schools, you can't do it anymore. So all those people who may still have jobs and you're waiting for that better day to come back, they've actually not been able to do what they set out to do. So hopefully, I guess, good organisations will have thought about that up front and will be flexing people's objectives. So when they come to the end of the year, they can be fair about it.
So what do you mean by flexing people's objectives? You mean not holding them to the original objective?
Absolutely, yeah. So thinking about actually what they can achieve. So if you can't do X, then you need to be doing Y. And actually changing that and being really flexible about it. The other side of this, of course, is it realistic to expect somebody to perform as well under conditions like this? The stress, the fear that they've been under for the past year with a disease. They may have had to look after somebody who was sick, or may have had somebody in their family close to them have died. Also have to do homeschooling and try and work all at the same time.
But I think there can be an over-dependency on your employer to do things for you that actually it's not in your employer's job description to do.
True.
I think there's a level of care and empathy from your employer that you should expect.
Yeah.
But I think expecting them to bend over backwards for your extenuating circumstances can be a bit much to ask, I think. I think there's a little unfairness.
I understand that as well, because the business may be struggling as well
to
make ends meet, I think.
And if I might add, sorry to interrupt, but the managers and the leaders also have their own families and also have their own extenuating circumstances. It's not like they're not going through it as well.
Absolutely.
We're all going through this. But I've heard stories of people saying, what are you doing for my children? It's almost like, do you want us to look after your dog as well? I don't understand that. Or why are they criticising their own employer for not helping them through something when, there's a business to run as well. And if the business wasn't here, you wouldn't have a job. And I'm finding it hard to get my head around that a little bit.
But I suppose a lot of that work is being motivated and being energised to do the best you can do as well. So there is something for organisations to think about, isn't there, about actually it is going to be really tough for people. I'm going to help them as much as I can, or as much as the business can afford to do, because we want them to do the best job and help us get out of this as well. So there is a really good reason for the business as well. A question for you would be, how would you motivate people if they are in a difficult situation, if they've not been able to do the plan that they wanted to do or the business wanted to do, if they have been on furlough, for example? How do you motivate people to have positive conversations about performance? What's in it for them?
Well, I do think that's something you should be expecting from your employer.
Yeah.
I think that's different. And I hope I haven't confused you with that. I think there are some things that are very business oriented that your employer is there to help you. They're to help you motivate and encourage you to get back on track when you've had some poor circumstances.
So from a communicator's perspective, this is quite a challenging topic to do, isn't it? Because
definitely.
Maybe people think, oh, why are we bothering doing this? We're not going to get a pay rise. We're not going to get a bonus. I think it's really important to think about, help people to understand a bigger picture of why an organisation might look at performance longer term. So it's not just have you done X, Y, Z. It's have you developed your skills? Are you going to bring more to the business? Can you get a promotion? Are there opportunities for you to do something more? And so there are a lot of good reasons to keep those sort of business tasks going, isn't there? Beyond just rating somebody.
Yeah. Oh, if the ratings, I mean, I don't like the rating system anyway. I think it's a very poor way of appraising people. I think it should be very individual. And, I'm a believer in projects rather than 9 to 5 as well. So if you hire someone, I don't care if you're not at your desk. I don't care if I don't see you, but I know what you're working on and I can't wait to see the outcome of it. And I'll judge you, if I'm your manager, on how good the outcome is.
Yeah.
I don't care if it took you 2 hours a day and we're paying you for 8. It doesn't matter. It's the outcome I'm paying you for. And I think that would be a nicer thing than the whole rating.
Yeah, because I think a lot of more modern organisations or forward thinking have hopefully switched to this idea of continuously monitoring how people work. So, like you say, if you're on a project, getting feedback from that project rather than thinking twice a year or once a year, we're going to look back at everything you've done and rate you on something.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do and it's not motivating for anyone, is it? So,
well, especially if the manager is a little bit far away from that project and doesn't really understand it.
So it makes more sense to ask the people involved, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And do that over a year anyway. Seems fairer. So hopefully changing circumstances can be dealt with straight away, opposed to, oh no, we've not managed to do any of these objectives and it's the end of the year. What do we talk about?
We're coming up to this period where we're looking at how people have been able to do their job during this really difficult year. Do you think that people are expecting things to be the same?
No, I don't think so. I think for one, I think people are expecting flexibility.
But do you think they know that, though? I think what I'm asking, have communications been clear that we're going to treat this different?
Well, I hope so. Maybe that's what we should be talking about how you do that. But I think giving people clarity on how something's going to work is important, because I don't think anyone, having lived through this last 18 months, this last year, can really think things will be the same. I think you have to be adaptable and flexible now, and I think we're all more used to that, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so.
We've not all worked from home, but a lot of people have worked from home. They've got different routines. Some people have more time, more money, all these different things. Some people it's positive. They may have achieved more. We shouldn't be assuming everybody hasn't achieved well and done well. So we should be creating an environment where you can still show off what you've done and how well you've done.
How would you rate yourself for the past year?
On the podcast, I'd say 3 out of 10. Am I being harsh?
You're being harsh on yourself there, I think. I think I will be doing my own appraisal.
Oh, thank you. Will you be gathering feedback from the listeners?
Well, I'm not quite sure. I was thinking more for my business. I'm the sole owner.
Worker.
Yeah, so I appraise myself and I think I've had a good year. However, I won't be getting my bonus nor a pay rise.
I think you and me both.